All right, what's up, folks? Welcome to episode two of the Casting Couch. We are your host. I'm Kennedy Scribe Castor Ray. We got the on one and only Johnny Crown up in here. We got Ray
You're
Johnson up in here. Yep. All right, so we're gonna
yes,
get
sir.
straight into it. Wasting no time, we're going to get into our hot topics, right? So, hot topics. We're gonna kick it off with this week. We had an interesting comment. It was one of our clips that did pretty well on social media and all the platforms, right? And it was talking about should actors, right, or influencers be actors, and we'll stay on that topic. Should influencers be actors? And it was this clip where I was talking about essentially the game has changed, right? That means like no longer are you just able to go get an audition, right? You can still do that and land a job, but nowadays as producers, we're looking for more, right? So oftentimes, especially if you're on an AVOD platform, it's about getting people to click the content, right? So we will go
Right.
take an influencer who has, let's say, 2 million, right, of a following and put them in a role, maybe not the main role, but a role, right? And it helps get eyes on the project. So that was the gist of what my like antidote was, right? So then we had a comment from shout out to this person, ACTHER Studio. So I think it's like actor studios, right? It's a play on words.
Act her. Yeah.
I think so. I think it's like Act Her
Yeah.
Studios. So shout
Yeah.
out to them. Um, and the comment that this person made was, but the, and then all caps, real. So you do like air quotes you want. Good work isn't from influencers. Putting together a skit full of poor acting won't get you on Game of Thrones. And if you think the industry isn't aware of the difference, you're mistaken. So my reply was this, right? I hear your perspective. However, there are influencers who are landing on major shows now because they are putting in the work and real is relevant to the audience. Everyone doesn't want to watch a Game of Thrones show. They find other shows just as entertaining. Then they replied again, right? So now we get good.
uh,
The reply was, what work? In quotes. Question. No, everyone doesn't want to watch Game of Thrones, but real storytellers want to work at high levels. What's real to audience doesn't equate to viewership. The shows that win Emmys and the movies that win Oscars deal with storytellers. Entertainment is one thing, true artistry is another. Just because it's on TV doesn't make it good. So, I said, why should I reply on here, right? This is great. I'm glad. This is the whole
right.
point of this game podcast is for us to invoke emotions and have conversations. So, yes, here we are, right? So my thought to that is this. This is the exact problem with the industry right now is this type of thinking, right?
Is
Of
this type
like,
of thinking? Yes.
yep, what real is or what good is or what like, and here's the point, none of that matters what as quote unquote like artists think what real and good is. Now I'm not saying you
Hmm.
shouldn't strive to get an Academy Award. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive to get an Emmy. What I'm saying is that actually doesn't matter anymore because what matters is if you have an audience and that audience likes your stuff. So what
Right.
producers, and this unfortunately what happens with creatives, they're not thinking about the financial aspect of making something and having it be successful. What producers are thinking is saying, okay, this person has an audience. Let's create something around the person that has an audience because there's people there who are going to
Hmm.
watch, which turnaround means clicks, which turnaround means dollars, right? So I think this
Right.
whole standard of what good is now being just eradicated, right? It's now just being changed. And I guess you say yes, good acting, that's a general thing. That's like a universal thing is good acting, but everybody's not going to be Viola Davis. It's not happening. Everybody's not going to be Denzel, right? And we appreciate and clap those people on, but that doesn't mean you can't make something. I'll give some real examples, right? And part of this good thing, and I'm really sorry, I'm going in. Part of this good thing is really whiteness. That is what good was, right? If we look at it, right, what was good for the Academy Awards? whiteness, right? They didn't even want us in. Let's go back to Hattie McDaniels couldn't even be in the building. That wasn't that long ago. That was literally in my parents' lifetime that took place, right? So we're setting these standards on what real is and what good is based off of stuff that wasn't made for us from the jump, right? So,
Right.
but back to my example, we look at Issa Rae, who started her show off on YouTube, right? And then what happened? The platforms went to her and said, "Hey, we're gonna give you some money. You keep making this content because you have an audience." And then we look at TP, Tyler Perry, who everybody was laughing at because he was making these plays and selling DVDs out the trunk, right? And then, but he had
Right.
what? He had an audience. And when you have an
Audience.
audience, it doesn't matter what the platform is, it doesn't matter what it is. So now social media influencers have an audience and they're making television shows and content and etc. Right? So I just feel like you gotta evolve to the game. If you don't evolve to the game, you're gonna be stuck. And as an actor, I would be doing both. I would be getting in acting classes. I would be becoming the best actor as possible. But then I wouldn't be waiting on Hollywood to cast me. I would be making my content on social media and building my following. So then they turn around and go to you. And I'll pause, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Lord have mercy,
That's
Scribe
right.
going
That
in.
was. You're right.
Scribe came out
How do you
with the
how do you go
dagger. Like,
behind that? You know.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. But what I will say is, the industry, it's so many ways to get in. It should never be one way. Like everybody wants to look at the industry, like a lot of people look at the industry as one dimensional, but the industry is like multi-dimensional. And one of the dimensions that's hot right now is social media. All eyes are on social media. The whole world is on social media, and there are people that have been on TV forever. And this is not to take away from who they are, but if you were to go to like freaking West Egypt now, nobody will ever know them. While there are people that's on TikTok that people know worldwide. And a lot of those factors count in when it comes to being casted nowadays. Fortunately, unfortunately. And so to diminish someone's creativity or even talent because they started off of TikTok is unnecessary. You don't have to do that because the world is changing and it's going to get crazier because that's just one area that we're looking at. There's other areas that's coming like AI where they don't even need nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can actually create and clone yourself in many of these new apps and put yourself, create a whole new movie with all the actors not even being real. And these are movies that are gonna really be winning awards in the future. I'm talking about Oscar winning stuff. I've played with some apps that I'm like, wow, like, and it's crazy because I have, a project on TikTok, called Protect the Past at Protect the Past, where I create these AI movies and from my imagination, and joints be going viral like it's nothing. People love them. They don't even care. People actually tell you that this is how they even want AI to be used. And the fact is, you just have to just do what you do from your heart, and don't let another person shine. Like don't try to dim another person's shine, and don't let another person's shine dim yours. That's how I look at it, because no matter what, I think the standards will always be the standards. The Meryl Streep, the Denzels, all these actors that have gone to school, learn their craft, master their craft, and have proven time after time again that they are forever going to be making classics. That's what we'll always like ultimately respect. But the new people coming in, however way or path you take to come in, like right now we're talking to social media influencers, they deserve greatness too. You know what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
deserve greatness too. And, they, give them their flowers. That's how I look at it. And move on. There's so much to make, and the pie is so huge that you can split it so many
So
ways.
many ways. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You right.
You're absolutely right. And not to take away, because you can't take away anything from the actors that put in the work in school, um, and just went hard with their craft through theater, and then got came into film, TV. Like, most definitely applaud them, and they deserve, everything they get. But it just seems like now there has been people that can post something, a skit or what have you, and you like it to a point where it's like there's natural talent out there as well. Has Hollywood thrown away the fact that natural talent can't, move forward? So first thing they say to you when you get an audition and all this is great, but go to acting class. And it's like, wait a minute, I just killed this. You know in your heart you killed it. Then you watch somebody that actually got it, and you kind of like, because that person went to school, that person did this, they got the role, and that role sometimes don't even fit them. You have actors that try to get into comedy. You're not a comedian. You're not comedic. You know what I'm saying? You're not that. But here go this influencer, because majority of the influencers that really get roles are comedian influencers. They're funny. You know what I'm saying? So they have an audience of making people laugh through their social media skits and what have you. So yeah, man, like I feel like if somebody walked through that door to an audition or send that self tape in and it kills it, I don't think you should care of where that person was at before that. It was at, learning the Meisner technique or Stella Adler. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did they bring to that self tape that they can bring to the film or TV? You know what I mean? So that's what I think about it, and I don't want to take anything away from actors that put the work in from school to theater, living in their cars, struggling because they felt that was the way for them. And I most definitely want to take away something for these creators that's creating a lane for themselves. You know what I mean? And then jumping in the lane that somebody else has created, but just jumped in because it's to a point where, oh, I can do that too. And here we are with influencers now getting roles in Hollywood, and they well deserved. So that's my take.
I agree with everything y'all said. I feel like bottom line, do both or don't knock whatever route somebody else is doing. Like that's where I'm just at. Like just because it's not your route, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't take that route. So, all right, we will move along. Next hot topic. Okay, so unfortunately, you guys know that BET was bought out by well, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. So I'll
They
back
didn't
up.
buy
Okay.
them yet, did they?
Yeah, it happened. So, but we got to back up. We got to back all the way up. Here, hold on. Let me unmute Johnny. There we go. All right. So we got to back all the way up. So how this originally came to like where we're at now, right? So BET was originally independently owned, right? And it was owned by Bob Johnson and Sheila Johnson. This is like how it
Mm-hmm.
started, right? Both of
Mm-hmm.
these people were, well, I don't know if they're billionaires, but at one point they are. At one point they were
One
billionaires. They're
part they
multiple
were.
millionaires. Yeah, that part. So, and then here's the tea. Now it's a little mess, all right, but we're gonna keep it real. It's called the gas account. Little mess. Allegedly, I'm gonna hit my allegedly button. Allegedly, what took place is there was an affair, right? Whoo, hot, scandalous. There was
Hot.
an alleged
Oh,
affair
I didn't know.
between yeah, no, this is real. It was an alleged affair because I can't confirm, but it's been reported multiple times. But I'll
It's
still
been
say
reported.
alleged. Yeah, between Bob Johnson and Deborah Lee, which is
Oh,
crazy, right?
yes.
And that led to a divorce, right? I mean, and that takes nothing away from what Deborah Lee has done for BET, which was amazing, right? But this is what took
Right.
place. Uh, and Sheila Johnson filed. That's the wife of Bob Johnson. Filed for divorce, right? And she was awarded $400 million in the divorce. And then Bob Johnson kept control. That's a nice divorce, right?
Yeah,
That's a
cause
nice.
she married him before the prenup was popular.
Oh, you know, this is pre
and, and,
prenup.
and Bob didn't go back. He didn't track back and say, "Hey,
Bob
baby,
didn't
you
go.
know."
He didn't double back, get the paperwork,
He was
and
being double back. He was supposed to double back on that.
they built BET together, right? And amongst other things, they built it together,
Oh, did
right? So she
they?
got her 400 million and went her separate ways. Bob and Deborah Lee
Uh-huh.
continued on with BET, right? Then we
Mm-hmm.
know, you know how they always everybody get up there. I just want to thank Deborah Lee and what's the other guy who I'm
Uh,
slipping.
um,
You know who I'm talking about. He
Ron,
just produced the last award show. What's his
yes, he
name?
did.
He's black. He's bald. He's
He's
bald.
black. He's bald.
He's bald.
Reginald Hurley, and something like that.
Uh, we are failing
Nah, I
on
know
this
what
one.
you're talking about. I know what
What
you're talking
what
about. His name is,
what's his name? He's great. He's an amazing producer. So I hate the fact that I'm
Reginald
blanking on it.
Hudlin.
No,
Reginald
not
Hudlin.
him.
no,
Not him.
no, his
No.
name is. I know who you're talking about. It's not
Yeah.
Steve.
Is it Steven? Is it no? Stephen
It's
Hill?
Stephen Hill. No, no,
Stephen
is it
Hill.
Hill? It's
I'm
Stephen Hill,
blinking.
right?
It's Stephen Hill.
I
It should
think
be.
it's
It
Stephen
should
Hill.
be Stephen
Yeah,
Hill.
Stephen Hill.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Stephen Hill, BT
Just
producer,
put BT
maybe.
producer. You'll see it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Stephen
is. All
Hill.
right.
Yeah,
It's Stephen Hill. All right.
it
So
was
Stephen
definitely
Hill
Stephen.
Stephen
was
Hill. He sure
behind.
is. It's him. Yes.
Stephen Hill and Deborah Lee was the tag team over there at BT for years, right? For
Right.
years. He was behind 106 in Park. He was behind so many other big shows and award shows, all that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at
Mm-hmm.
some point, BET sold to Viacom. This is probably like, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years prior to me getting on 106 Park. So when I got on 106 Park, when my music video got on 106 Park, it was 2014, right? So this was around kind of that time, right? In my opinion, that was the demise of BET. That was the decision that did us over. We sold to Viacom, right? So what happens is when you sell your company, you either have a board or etc. And then there's new things. Viacom
Yeah.
owns
New ideas.
BET, VH1, and MTV, right? So they were all competitors, right? Because they were independently owned. So then you unified under one person, right? That's not necessarily the smartest thing to do. Okay.
Right.
Viacom was owned by Paramount, right? And Paramount, I think it was CBS or one of the big ones, one of the big four owns Paramount, right? So I'm giving you this whole background to say this. That whole umbrella was recently just bought out by Skydance, right? And it was merged. Skydance merged with
Merge.
Yep, it
Yes.
was merged. And so that
Paramount.
deal was on halt because Trump, and this is not me just propaganda, this is what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trump was saying he didn't want it to go through, right? Unless they did certain concessions of getting rid of DEI programs, certain programs that he thought was unfavorable, which is why about 2 weeks ago, Stephen Colbert got canceled, right? So this is all together. Even in the past year or 2 years, there's been several layoffs. A lot of those people feel like those were layoffs to do concessions so that Trump would sign off on the deal.
Mm.
So saying to say this,
Wow.
BET as we know it is no more, right? And I feel like it's going to fold within the next 5 to 7 years. It's just me and my business perspective, right? Can't confirm, deny. Nobody's ever told me this. The reason why I feel like that is because they've already stopped over the past 2 years really licensing content. And so this is like producer talk, filmmaker talk, right? So what that means is you make a film and then you go to BET, say, hey, BET, I have this film. Can you give me a license for it? Meaning, can you put it on your BET Plus platform for a certain amount of time? That number used to be significantly higher. Then it started to drop, drop, drop. And now it's like they're not even doing it, right? Then, two, Tyler Perry still has his deal over there, but that deal runs out, I think, in the next 2 to 3 years. If you watch BET right now, 80% of the content on BET is Tyler Perry's
It's
content,
Tyler
right?
Perry. Yeah.
Even if you go on the BET Plus app, 80% of that stuff is Tyler Perry's
Tyler
content.
Perry.
I personally think that they're writing that content off to the sunset, meaning that they're just going to let his contract, they're going to eat up all the ads, whatever, right? And then they're just going to go boop and then close. Here is our other signal that happened this week. This week they canceled, like well, it's supposed to roll into maybe a new, you know how they say, oh, we're gonna put it up in a new way. No, you canceled it. BT Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards have been suspended indefinitely.
Hmm.
That's crazy. This is
That
how you
is.
can start to tell that things are like going left. And so, gave all that background so we can talk about it. How do we feel about the state of BT? Even though this last BT Awards is one of the best BT Awards in a really long time, but
Right.
how do we feel about the state of BT and what that means, not just for production but for culture? And
Well,
anybody?
when you look at having a white CEO for BET, I think that's where the problem sits. Like he knows nothing about our culture. He knows nothing about what goes on in the urban communities. Sometimes you can hire a highly educated black person that never has lived in the hood, never, really visited the hood like that. So they don't know, but at least to us, we seeing that person of color. And then you take away the Soul Train Awards. That's one of the dumbest decisions ever because in black culture, R&B is the biggest. Like you might think it's hip hop, but it's R&B. You know what I'm saying? It's that. That's one award show that I think should stay, should never even be touched, think about being touched, none of that. That's something you fight for. And then how legendary the Soul Train show was in general, so that right there should be like iconic. What do you call that when they can't tear down a building? It's
Historic.
historical,
Hmm.
historical. So that should be historical. That should never be touched. You know what I'm saying? Like even if something happened with BET, somebody should be smart enough at MTV, at VH1. Oh, that's no more. Oh, let me get that. Come on over here, and we're gonna have your Soul Train Award. So that's what I feel about that. And then the history of BET. I think that yeah, Tyler has 80%, but it's to a point where they're not wanting to put too much money into some of the other shows because maybe not too many people are subscribed to BT Plus. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can't follow everyone else. If you go into BT Plus and streaming is not good for you, but on just TV, you getting good viewership, stay there. You know what I mean? So everybody wanted to go to the streaming. Streaming probably not for everybody, especially when you're trying to. You can get Hulu for I'm just saying $7.99. You can get Netflix for $9.99. But then here's BT $9.99. Like really, like you don't have the content that they have to charge where they at. Go to the $2.99, $3.99, and just be happy down there. You know what I mean? So you can actually build up your viewership, and then do what Netflix did. Like how many viewers we got? Oh, we got that many. Okay, we $12.99 now. Oh, we went up some more. We're $17.99 now. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna leave? No, you're not, because your favorite content is on there. Now you're hooked. Now you're willing to pay that. So that's what I think, about this. And I would love for BT not to go anywhere, and I would love for BT to be more of a platform where more blacks are creating. And if it has to sell it and somebody get it, well, where's the Tyler Perry's and all them that was trying to buy it? You're not trying to buy it no more. 1.6 billion. I think the 3-4 of y'all can get that. You know what I mean? That was the price they put on it.
But they didn't want to
Everybody
sell
come up
it.
with 350.
That wasn't the issue. They had the money. They wouldn't sell it. They wouldn't sell it to what's his name? Byron Scott tried to buy it. Tyler Perry tried to buy it. They
No,
wouldn't sell it.
Byron Allen. Byron Allen.
Oh, Byron Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Byron Allen tried to
Yeah,
buy
buddy,
it,
he be
but
buying up
and this is what
everything.
happens when you sell your stuff, but you sold to Viacom. I think it should have went to another black person from jump. I mean, we wouldn't be in this situation. Like, imagine if Byron Allen
We
would have
wouldn't be in
had
this
the
situation.
opportunity to buy BET. We wouldn't be in this problem. Stop selling your stuff. Just stop selling your stuff. And
Right.
I can even talk about radios, but I'm gonna let Johnny speak. So go ahead.
Nah, I agree 100%. I feel like whoever's, the CEO really kind of shows what the company will be. Whoever takes over the seat really, you know, influences what the company will be in the next coming of years. And when you're not a person of our hue and of our culture through and through, and you won't have the same passion that we have, and you won't have the same intentions, you know, and then you, because you, a lot of the times you just focused on stats, and obviously not everybody's watching TV now, you know, and then like Ray was saying, the subscription tiers, like you don't try to compete with a freaking juggernaut like Netflix or Hulu that's how they came in the game. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel as if it was sold to or if a black person was the CEO, say for example Tyler, he would have created an angle whereas even more black creatives would have been able, because there's so many black creatives, so many film directors, so many amazing storytellers that don't even get a shot. And a platform like BET, being that it's for us, almost like a FUBU type of thing, and this would have been an area where they would have been able to flood amazing creators into it if it was failing and suffering, and highlight and create something crazy. Because one thing about us under pressure, we never crack. We always come up with some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? But if we're not given that opportunity, this is what happens. You know, we just left by the wayside. We hurt, and then our own platform dies. Soul Train Music Award. Who even lets that go? That there was nothing wrong with the BET Awards. Something was wrong to the last one. You know what I mean? They got it right.
Yeah.
We was like, okay, whew, finally. But
Fine.
the Soul Train, yeah, but the Soul Train Music Awards, there was never nothing wrong for the last forever years that I
Yeah.
remember. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We always
It
had
always was
you
good.
know,
That was always hidden every time.
Always.
they stole, or let me just say, they low key kind of like died out. You know that neo soul music, but when the Soul Train came on, it made us remember it again. Like this is the
Mm-hmm.
shit that we like. You know
Right.
what I mean? Come on, Jill Scott. Come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, India Ari. Come on, like these people that are legends. They just quiet them, quiet their sound. But when that show came around, we was waiting for them to come on. And then they had this whole new cipher thing they've been doing for the last couple of years, where the old school artists will come out and do a cipher with the new school artists. Like it was like done perfectly. Nothing was ever wrong. The down to Erica Badu hosting, all that was great. You know what I'm saying? So now we not gonna see none of that no more. If that's not
Nope.
an agenda, I don't know. I don't know what to
What
call
is?
it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But here's the problem, right? Like I said, the problem is this ownership.
saying?
I will harp on this to the day is
Yes, but
ownership.
I'll be controversial right now, and I have to say this, and this is just it just has to come out. If a person like Diddy was out, the minute this news dropped, Diddy will be making an Instagram post saying, "All right,
About buying it.
if that's what it is, we gonna start our own then. Revolt Awards, let's go." You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying?
That
Yeah.
You
part.
know, we gonna do our own thing, and that's why ownership means everything when it comes to us and our community. Listen, I love everybody else's culture, but they have things already. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They have their own shit. A lot of it. We only have one or two things. Look at what we crying over. Two
Yep.
things. Everybody else had like 10 things. But
Yes.
that's all we came up with was two things. And that's another problem. That's why we need more of us in positions that we can be able to call these kind of shots. So when that happens, it's like, okay, that ain't even loud in the forest. That's a tree. We heard it, but it ain't that loud. You know what I'm saying? We got
Hmm.
this, that, in the third. You know what I mean? That's why we can't allow them to keep taking our. You know what I mean? Yeah, accountability. Yes, we have to take that. Yeah, yes, but
Right.
these are still entities within our own culture that have the power to be able to just move this kind of shift and change the movement. Because what's going to happen is they really trying to like, I hate to use a word, but they trying to really like, let me just use this word, like blur out the
So now
culture.
I'm gonna just say it. They're whitewashing. They're
Yeah,
Yep.
whitewashing
that's you know what I'm saying.
what
Hmm.
America. They're trying to
Right.
whitewash reality because the reality is this: the numbers are against them 100%. The majority of Americans are other, meaning that there's a more other, whether it's black, Hispanic, Asian, blah blah blah, than white
Mixed. Yeah.
or mix of some sort than white. And so same thing, it's not a political thing, but let's talk about it. Same thing that they're trying to do with the states. They're trying to gerrymander the states so that your vote doesn't matter in their district, meaning that you outnumber them. So just by the numbers, if we would all vote, we would outnumber them. But they purposely are creating a system to where they're redistricting, right? So it's favorable for them. It's the same thing that they're doing. This is why this matters so much, right? Is because now, like you said, we're fighting over crumbs. We already had crumbs in the first place. We already only had BET, what TV1, what you would call it, BET Her, and then I'm blanking on like some of the other linear
Oh
Remember
yeah,
platforms.
when
me
we
me
used to
too.
have the Remember when we used to have the Source Awards, the Vibe
We
Awards,
we
and then we lost those.
we lost all of
You know what
that
I'm saying?
because but we sold. I can keep
Right.
going back to that. I can keep
Right.
going back to we sold. We
I
keep
mean,
selling our stuff.
economic power. We do need that also,
Hmm.
but we have to be careful because money is everything, but money ain't everything. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get all the money in the world, and then you leave your own people behind suffering. Because you know how many people really were waiting for those award shows to come on. To be
That
honest
part.
with you, I don't even watch BET. But when the BET Awards come on, even
I'm
if
a
it's
good.
corny, you know what I'm
I,
saying? Even if it's
Yeah.
corny as hell, which I've watched for many years, and it was like trash book. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
it
Till
was.
last year, to the last one. But
Yeah.
I waited for it. That was my thing. I was like, okay, I haven't watched BT all year, but this I'm gonna watch. You know what I'm
I,
saying? And so
I,
now that's gone, and it's like nothing to look forward to. Come on now,
Yeah.
it's tough.
we gotta do better.
Got to
We
do
gotta do
better.
better for ourselves.
We gotta do
Got to do
better.
better.
And so I'm gonna segue here, Johnny. I know you got to hop. So if you got to hop, you can hop. But I'll segue here. Faison Love said something that's going viral, which is something that I've been saying. Hell, we've all been saying is that Tubi is going to be as big as Netflix, right?
Netflix.
If not bigger than
Okay.
Netflix. And so this relates to what we're talking about now, right? BET's business model just isn't was not sustainable. It's not sustainable for two reasons. One, you pointed out, Ray, because of their costs, right? You can't have the same cost as Netflix and not have the same content. And what that boils down to is retention rate. You have to keep somebody on your platform. They don't have enough high quality, and it's not saying there's low quality, but you get what I'm saying, high engaging, I'm gonna keep you here for hours content on BET Plus as they do Netflix. So you can't charge the same price, right? And so
Right.
therefore they needed to go to an AVOD business model. If I'm over talking, that just means they show you ads, and as a user, you don't have to sign in, right? That's what Tubi does. It's free. You get to watch all the content, and then they show you ads. So the filmmaker makes money off the ads, and the platform makes money off of ads. If BT, I'm talking about today, if BT went AVOD today, they stopped charging for subscriptions and just started showing people ads in the content, they would make way more money. If they would have did that from jump, then they would be 2B or whatever else, right? So at this point, that's spilt milk.
Right.
That's not happening, and it looks like we're trending. right? But Tubi has the opportunity, but unfortunately, Tubi, so everybody knows, is not owned by black people. It is owned by Fox. It is a Fox entity, right? I love Tubi because it gives us an opportunity right now. It's like the gold rush for us to make money as a filmmaker. But the problem still exists, right? Black people need to have their own platform. This makes me really want to start my own streaming platform. It really does. Like, I've been having the itch to do that. Maybe we're not at that point, but like, I really do, because it's a piss off. It really is a piss off to know that what happens
Yeah,
every
I'm
time we
with you
have
with
a
that.
platform pop off, it's like it just sells to somebody else, and I'm like, we can already make the content. Like, why not just make the content, make our own platform, find the other filmmakers, have them put their content on us in addition to the other platforms, and go from there. I don't know, we'll probably get to that, but we got to keep going. All right, so let's segue into top five segment. Today's top five, we're gonna do top five Denzel Washington performances. um
Ooh,
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be
It's
tough.
gonna be really tough.
Get it.
I'm a,
Whew.
I'm gonna pass it to I'm gonna pass it to Johnny first. Johnny, what you got?
So top five Denzel. You know Denzel. He from New York, so that's my guy. Um,
New
and
York,
I
New
gotta
York.
start with American Gangster. That's what I'm gonna
Okay.
start with. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yes,
And
sir.
then I'm more. I'll say Malcolm X. That's my
Hmm.
shit.
Okay.
I would say Glory. That's my joint.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Fences.
Hmm.
See, Fences is let's stop playing with Fences, y'all. That
Defenses,
He
should
yeah.
have been
directed
number
it too,
one.
though. He directed it too. That's what
Should have
makes
been
that so
number one.
cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
And he get to play with them too.
yeah,
Yeah.
he got to play with them too. And last but not least, I want to get controversial, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I was
Come
gonna say the
on.
gladiator. I was gonna say the gladiator. I'm sorry, nobody.
That's your five.
Gladiator is cold. Gladiator is cold. I don't
I
know why
mean,
people don't like it.
listen. For me, it was nostalgia. It was nostalgic. So and keep it P like that. But yeah,
All
those are my
right.
five.
Okay.
What
I
you
know
got,
y'all was
right?
going. I know everybody expect you to say training day, of course, like duh, but
Yeah.
nah, nah,
You know what? You're right.
gladiator.
And I did have training day in my top five, but so what I matched you with was American Gangster, Malcolm X, and Fences. I had those. Of course, I had training day. He got an Oscar. We have to do so much of other things to deserve Oscars when he should have been nominated for a lot more, if not won any by then. But the one that really it's actually two. I just want to stay on the five. I don't want to go over. But the Great Debaters. I love I love period pieces, and that was most definitely like one of the movies that he's done that I love, and I could watch that over and over. And I think he was the director of that as well. So
I gotta check.
um,
He might have been.
yeah, so that right there really got me. But John Q as well. You love that
Ooh,
story of the father. Going
yeah,
to the
ooh.
got to do what it do. For your blood. But yes, so those are my Denzels. It was hard, but you know there you have it. What you got, Ken?
I gotta do Malcolm X, because that start to finish, that movie was just insane to do that
It
much of a
was.
performance, and like, yeah, that's a
Wow.
lot. Um, um, whatchamacallit? What's the one? Why am I blanking on it? This is so dumb. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Which one was that? That was Train
That was
Day.
training day.
Train Day.
Training day.
I'm gonna put that in there. Fences got to be in there. You
Hmm.
directed. That's, yeah, that's tough. American Gangster, that got to be in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, what's something else? I don't know. He's got so many cold ones. I'm gonna go with. Oh, I'm gonna go with Gladiator. I'm gonna throw that in there too, just because it was so different. It was so different. That
That
I
was.
it was just a different color he painted, and like yeah, I love all that. Um, I mean Denzel though is just like you just throw him in a movie, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna be amazing. Like
Right.
he's one of those people you just throw a script at him. Here, play this character.
Yep.
So uh, I feel like he's fire. All right, we're gonna do some rapid fires. Um, so if I give you a topic, right, you have to do it real quick, like what it is. I'll give you an example. All right, so if I say best Marvel movie, and then I would go Black Panther. So, all
Okay.
right, we'll go. Our order will be Ray, Johnny, me, and we'll keep going like that until we make it through all the categories. All right, so best Marvel movie.
Black Panther.
Why you just gonna take it
Black Panther
like
2 then. Okay.
that?
That's it. Nothing else.
You cheated. Oh god, that was funny as well.
That's what we doing.
I'll say less. Blah, blah, blah. The Avengers.
Okay, I said Black Panther already. All right, best Pixar movie.
Ooh.
Uh, Inside Out. Inside Out. I went to the movies with the kids at camp, man. I'm in there like, so yeah,
For
Inside Out.
me, for me, honestly, it's The Incredibles. Nobody whooping that.
Ooh, that's tough. That's all
The
right. Toy
Incredibles.
Story. I said Toy Story. Toy
Yeah.
Story is the OG. That's what kind of started it all. Toy Story.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Best rom com.
Rom
Ooh.
com. Yeah. I just keep it simple. Brown Sugar.
Okay,
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Brown
that's
Sugar.
tough.
I seen it
You
was
went.
from Brown Sugar, right, Kennedy?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was.
We did the
Hold
scene
on,
in
hold on,
class.
hold on.
It
Go
was from
back.
Brown Sugar.
What was some black brown sugar?
Brown. We did a scene in class. We did a scene in class from Brown Sugar. Me and Ray did.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god. That's crazy. All right, so I
Yeah.
would say, what was the old school joint? What was the Love Jones?
Yeah,
Love Jones. Yep.
I
Love
was gonna
Jones.
say that. That's mine. Love Jones. Love Jones,
Hmm.
for sure. All right. Best buddy movie. So that means your best friends of some sort. It could be action. It could be comedy, but like buddy movie.
Ah,
I'm gonna go to Wood.
You gonna go to Wood?
The
All
Wood.
right. All right. That's tough. Okay.
Yeah.
so you mean like How High or something like that?
Well, no, it's just
Right.
buddy. So you got to be like best friends, right? It's surrounded about best friends doing actions. So it could be an
So
action movie, it could be a
does it have
comedy.
to be like comedy or some shit like that? Like you talk about like you talk about like uh Harold and Kumar type shit, right? You talking about shit like that?
Well, that could be that's a good example. But I'm gonna say Bad Boys. The
Ooh.
Oh,
buddy.
that boy is
Okay.
lit. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to best sci-fi.
I'm really not a sci-fi kind of
Me neither.
person. You know.
I love. I'm
I'm
a
That's
cheating.
sucker.
I'm over here looking.
I'm a
Uh.
sucker for sci-fi. I'm a sucker.
So I'm a. Oh my God! I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
say it.
Men in Black. Like
Okay.
Black is lit. What are you
Okay.
I couldn't
talking
think of the other ones he did. Yeah, he did another one where he was always drunk.
Which
Oh,
one was
you
that?
talking about the
Oh, Hancock. Hancock.
Hitch?
Hancock.
Hancock.
But Men
Was
in Black.
horrible. Hancock
Men
was
in Black.
horrible. No.
Men in Black.
That was my
Particular
dude
Men
though.
in Black.
Hancock was that he was the
Yeah,
listen. But
Will
that's
was
not
my
It's
considered
favorite
not
actor.
the
So whatever he put out, it was
it's
that's not
no that I feel like that's superhero. I feel like see
Superhero,
that
yeah,
is it.
superhero. That's not
I'm gonna give you
sci-fi.
Men in Black, but
Okay.
the Hedgehog
Yeah,
is superhero. All right,
Okay.
what you
yeah,
got,
but
Good.
Johnny? I know this your category.
well, to be honest with you, I think the most quintessential sci-fi movie is The Matrix. The most
Yeah,
quintessential
Mm.
yeah,
Damn, I didn't
sci-fi.
think about that. But you're a sci-fi guy. You would think
yeah.
that.
You
And
that's a good one.
I'm mad because they never they stole the story from a black woman, and I don't know if she ever got her credit. I'm sure she got paid by now, but the fact that they never got to develop a whole new one, not that last the last couple was kind of.
The last one that didn't that wasn't it.
I mean, from her, since she created it, they should have went back to her and see, what other chapter she had left going. You know what I'm saying? And they just buried her. And that's where I come back to say, as black people, we need to kind of find a way to kind of like, each one teach one type shit and lift people up. Like that woman should never be like in the rubbles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Creating something that's phenomenal like that. Okay, they stole her script. Okay, where are the other scripts? She's still a creative mind. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Hmm.
You can't say that that's all we have is just 3 movies on Tubi. That doesn't work like that. If you are
mhm,
able to create 3, that means you got 5 billion others in your brain. That's just the way
Hmm.
a creative mind works. But it needs the opportunities and it needs the funding. You know what I mean? Because half of the times that's what it is, and it needs people that believe and trust in this person's craft and to take them to the next level. But everybody else is like self focused and preserving whatever else they got going on and forgetting that as a community we take off. Everybody else community, that's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? They take care of each other. What's going on within the Hispanic community right now? You should see how they have each other's backs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
mhm.
I live
They
in a building with
organized.
Hispanics and they like looking out for each other all the time. They be looking at me like, am I gonna sell out type shit? But I be looking at them like, nah, I got you know what I'm saying? I don't need brothers
Go
like
on and
that. You
join
know,
in, man.
you know what I mean?
That part. Nah.
I got,
Shout out
I
to our
got,
brown brothers and sisters.
Brown
you
brothers and
feel what I'm
sisters.
saying?
Yes.
Shit,
We
you know what I'm
with you.
saying? And so, but my point is, they look out for each other. We don't do as much to look out for each other. And so, when a woman like a creative that created the Matrix of all movies, her book or her story gets stolen and she never gets to be heard from again, nothing shot, nothing ever, that's like disenfranchising and that's not cool. And I think we do that a lot. I don't care about other people and our other counterparts. I feel like we as a culture should be looking at, where is this woman, what else do you have, let's put up some more shit, even if it's going to Tubi. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
Right.
actually segueing back to what you were saying earlier, yes, Tubi is not owned by us, but this is where the problem comes again. We flooded Tubi with our stuff. Like TikTok, we flooded TikTok, Instagram, every other platform. You know what I'm saying? But when a person like Isaac Hayes the second, I believe his name is, he creates a what you call it, a platform called Fanbase. We just find a way to tear him down, as if it's not the same thing that's on your phone. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Everything's freaking vertical or whatever the hell it is, and that's what you're looking at. If you're looking at a person within a box, it's the same phone. You know what I'm saying? But we find a way to tear him down. It's like it's a this whole crabs in the barrel thing. It's really it's eroding us, and it has eroded the culture because there's nowhere to freaking run to or hide once they take the main shit that we got. You know what I'm saying? That we rely on when we should never be relying on that alone. You know what I'm saying? Mexican and Hispanic people got 1,000 stores in the hood. You'll find one of ours, if that,
If I was going to say, if that,
if
If
that.
that.
Asian
If
people, the
that.
same thing. Thousands of stores in the hood, you won't find us. But we go in there to patronize, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But us, we don't
every
never
day,
take
all day.
the time. And a lot of it, of course, is still education. But a lot of us have the education. We could pass it on. A lot of the education is online. You could sit down and learn for 5 minutes how to change your life forever. And then the gap, it's getting so bad and worse. And what old boy is doing in office is creating. It's going to create a deeper destructive gap between the rich and the poor, the haves and the haves not,
The
to
have and
where
have not.
it's about to be just ugly in the next couple of years before he gets out of there. They trying to, and that's why we would freaking scream at Kamala, while some of us still found a way to say she wasn't black enough and
Which
this and
is
that.
insane. Like, and it's like that. Don't give me. It's insane. That's what I want to do to these people. You see what we're experiencing for the past
Yeah.
6 months?
And so
6 months,
we
and
dropped
you
the
were
ball.
saying
6 months.
what? What
Yeah,
were
we
you
dropped the
like?
ball.
What's the critique?
Yeah, we dropped the ball. As creative as we are, we just don't know how to use it to pull ourselves out of this, situation, and it's getting destructive. You know what I'm saying? And day by day, and we just looking past it. Like, okay, whatever, we'll do something else. And it's like we just can't keep on giving our shit to other people
People.
thinking
Yeah.
because we are that good and invent. We number one, we not as inventive as the people that came 50 years before. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Our talent is not as great as those. That's why we keep on saying people like Denzel and Meryl Streep. You're not getting these kind of caliber of actors on TikTok and all that shit. Yes, you're getting some people, yes, but you're not gonna get that level of caliber of acting ever almost again if they're not going through those same channels
They
that
went through
those people,
Juilliard.
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. That those
Like,
people did. You know what I mean? They
Right.
mastered the craft like from Shakespeare type shit. You know what I'm saying?
literally, they
Most of
literally
these
studied Shakespeare.
these new TikTokers don't even know who. If you said who Shakespeare was, they just gonna be like, who? Like, where is
Not
the
even
spirit
know.
of shake? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And that's the disconnect. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, it's just getting deeper, wider. The gap is getting crazier, and we just have to find a way to reconnect some shit because it's all out of order right now. And if we don't help each other, the next 2 3 years with your boy in office, because they helping each other. You
That
know what I'm
part.
They helping each other. They looking out for each other. They making sure we look bad and our people, look bad, especially our people that are like doing amazingly great, that are the faces of our culture. They're attacking each one of them. You can always find something online of them, that side, attacking the people on our side that are holding, that the light bearers and the torch. They're attacking them on a daily basis, be it in the media or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They are finding a way to knock them down for these next 4 years. And when that happens, and I'm knocking on wood that never happens, you know what I'm saying? It's over. I'm just letting you know. It's gonna be over because they pretty much are taking everything over. They got this jeans ad where this girl is basically, Sydney Sweeney or whatever her name
Don't get me
is. It's
started on that.
basically, you know what
You
I'm
know how
saying?
Beehive. We not. Nah, we not playing with that. I don't have.
You feel me? Where
Mm.
she's basically like, you know, going like this on their white power type shit. You know what I'm
You don't even
saying?
have to say it. It's
You feel what
complete.
I'm saying?
It's racist,
You know?
and it's almost it's literally like almost like it's like Nazi Jewism. Like it literally it's there's no other way to describe what that is. They used to make ads like that. Hitler used to make ads like that, right? In the process of the Holocaust, talking about what whiteness was and how this is the version of society that they wanted, right? And how you were supposed to look a certain way,
Right.
behave a certain way, and act a certain way. So what else is there for us to call that? Because magically, and then you got people, I'm just gonna say it. F. Piers Morgan, okay, for the audacity of you to say that Beyonce, oh, is not a natural blonde. So, first of all, what you don't understand is that black people have been using color and hair dye, right, as a creative choice all the way back since Africa. So, what are we actually talking about? Do you not know that albinism is something that has to do with being a derivative and being African American? Those are the people who are albino, and they have what type of hair color? Naturally blonde hair color.
Blonde hair. Yeah.
Then, if we want to
You know,
really get into it, you want to really get into it, being whiteness is a recessive gene, right? So it's actually not like, don't make me go there. It is actually not with it's having a lack of melanin. So in actuality, everybody who is blonde, right, and most of these white girls are dyeing their hair, right, but everybody who's blonde is actually trying to be black. So the audacity of you to say that Beyonce is trying to be anything other than African American, you effing tried it. And the beehive is not finna play with you. Sting this N word like a all the way down because you effing tried it. And I am so exhausted. And I know she's never going to say it, so I'm just going to say it. I am so exhausted from her doing everything exceptional, and then you try to come in and say that these white people, right, and we could have the Taylor Swift conversation. She has an amazing audience, all that. That's not to take away from her, but the actual talent that Beyonce has, the actual talent in the excellence that she achieves, the awards that she breaks on a regular everyday basis, for you to try to come in and say that anybody has an ounce even close to her is literally a slap and a spit in the face to black people and black women. We are tired. We are tired of
yeah,
doing 10 times
she,
more.
Yes, it is.
10
she look
times
she
more
look
and you
way
rewarding
better than
somebody.
Marilyn Monroe. She looked
Yeah.
way better than Marilyn Monroe. She got
The
more awards than Marilyn Monroe. She was never on drugs like Marilyn Monroe. She was she was never a hoe like Marilyn Monroe. You want me to continue?
we
You know,
could
I could
keep
go
going.
forever.
We could go
Right.
forever and ever.
She
And
got
it literally
more
goes.
swag, more drip, forever, more everything, and way more legendary than Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe ain't never done no freaking tours or ain't
Nope.
put out no clothing line or
She's never owned
music.
anything. She's literally never owned anything.
It's
Like,
not going on forever. So don't ever compare. It's no comparison there. You know what I'm saying? So Piers Morgan, he looked dry anyway, so I don't even pay attention to what he
I mean, but it goes back to our original statement. And you know what? Here's my takeaway, right? We have more to get to, but we can wrap up in a second, right? Sorry, folks. We can get to the full show today. That's okay.
Well, it's not because I
the,
went off on a tangent. Because I was just
nah.
saying, you know,
I think the premise of today's show, the number one takeaway is one, I need to look into how I'm gonna start own streaming network. So I think I'm gonna get. I don't know that it's gonna happen this year, but I feel like why not? There's 40,000. I think there's like 40,000 AVOD platforms. Why can we not be another black platform? Even if we never get to the point where we're as big as Tubi or whatever, why do we not have an option though? And we keep landing in this point where we don't have options. BET goes away, right? All Black, who's owned by AMC, but it was doing black content, they just got bought up. So that's gonna go away, right? So here we are again, back to one platform, which is Tubi, which eventually in the next 5 years is probably gonna look like a Netflix, and they're gonna do exactly what white owned companies do, which is build off of our backs and then turn around and leave us. But why is there not something else? So it would be nice if we become that something else. Why not us, right? So we should look into having our own streaming platform. And then two, black people stop selling your stuff. And I can go back to like my music days and talk about how it was different on radio than what it is now, right? And it's because we used to own our own radio stations, and everybody knows there's pay for play system that is across the board. It doesn't matter. Like all these songs, right, are getting marketing budgets, right, to be put on radio, even on the big Spotify playlists, marketing budgets from labels or independent labels or whatever, right? But the thing is, you can set the price or set the parameters when you own your own stuff. But if you sell your own radio station to iHeartRadio, right, then they're setting the parameters of what that looks like. They're setting what has to be played on the playlist. All that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop selling your stuff. And I think what happens is, and I can't be I get the kind of cherry dangling, right, when you start to get a little audience or making money and somebody comes in with an offer, and they're like, here's X amount of millions of dollars, you can just get out and I could take over, right? Now mind you, I haven't had millions of dollars put in front of me, right, but I have had several instances where it was significantly a larger amount of money than what I had going on put in front of me. And what it always boiled down to on the paperwork, and even John, you and Ray, you know multiple instances in the past 6 months, what it always boils down to is who's owning it. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as soon as it's not me owning it, it's been a no. Gotta go. And I think we need more black people to have that mindset. So why don't we do last takeaways on this, and then we'll leave them with our OG advice.
Uh, Last takeaway on what we had.
Ownership. That's it. Ownership.
Oh,
That's all we talk about now.
ownership.
Ownership. Ownership. This was a good
um,
episode.
yes, on ownership. I have a question, and then gonna go into it.
Okay.
Tubi being bigger than Netflix, do you think if Tubi started charging, they would have the same viewership? With
No.
no,
Uh,
you can't get it free. You have to subscribe and pay. Do you think they will have the
no.
same?
I don't
No.
know.
They wouldn't. Part of
Okay.
why they have viewership is because it's free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then even the Netflix and the Hulu, they're charging their prices and still throwing ads in there for the people that take the lower end
Uh-huh.
of the price range. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that's a double whammy for Netflix. So that's why when he said that, it was kind of like, I get it, but at the same time, what are they gonna pay? Because I had
No.
Tubi free
So here's
since it
here's the
came out.
theory. Right? So here's the theory. They become that big, right? Because the viewership becomes more because it is free. I do think that it's going to happen. And what happens is they're already making Tubi originals, right? So then now in the next, remember, didn't nobody want to do a Netflix original about 8 years ago, right? All the big stars were like, "That's not
Mhm.
cinema." Right? All the
Right.
directors were like, "That's not cinema." It's going to be the same thing with Tubi. Well, they're just going to go to where the people go. So then you'll have a Matt Damon make a Tubi original, I think, in the next 3 years, right? So then more viewers go there because it's free. Right. So I think they do become bigger as long as they stay an AVOD platform. If they have, let's say, an SVOD element, I think that element would be like kind of like, okay, well, we're free except this Matt Damon project, or Matt, you're gonna have to pay $1.99 for this project if you want to see it in the next 30 days or something like that. Like I think that's where they're kind of being at. And so therefore I could see them being bigger than Netflix or as big as Netflix in the next 3 years. If they
Okay.
charge, then no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
I
the
agree.
was you
Now
gonna
keep going.
because we was talking about the ownership. I had a quick question with that. Ownership, yes. It's great to um, be the owner because at that point you own the direction and all that. Um, but partnership can come in if it's gonna still leave um, the creator, the black creator, with some type of um, say or but when that's taken away, I think that's when real creatives. I ain't gonna say people not real creatives, but creatives such as you, Kennedy, and were like, nah. If I'm not gonna be, ownership or have uh, control, that's what I was looking for, the control over the direction of where it's going and how it's gonna go and how my career will go and all this. Then no, But um, I think in film and TV, TV is totally different because they do kind of take over because even with Issa Rae, they kind of took over. her show a little bit, right? The
Mm-hmm.
toward the end, and then the Shy. I know for sure these names are just not coming to me right now. It was said a while back, like they're on season 7. I think it was like season 3 or something, 3 or 4 maybe. Lena Raff, you know what I mean? That they kind of went in a different direction with the showrunner. So when the showrunners start moving around, those are the networks changing out people. You know what I mean? They're putting in their people. Oh, you're not gonna do what I said no more? Okay. Next person up that's gonna do what I say, you know. So that's when they start to get in control of it, and so yeah. And then in movies, of course, the people that put the money up, so you go to them and you put your money up. You didn't have nothing shot already, or you want to take a big amount of money. Of course, they want to kind of control that to make sure the direction of that was going. What kind of put Tyler on, even though he was already good financially when he took the little $5 million to shoot his first one, but that five turned into 50. And then from there, he's like, "Oh, I can use some of my money for a while." And then I think that the MGM deal came about and all that, but it still gave him kind of like the Master P type uh,
Mm.
contract where it's an 85-15 type deal. You know what I mean? Where he still was seeing majority of, the income and all that, so the revenue. So yeah, most definitely the ownership. Get that. Make sure on top of that. But if it's a partnership where you can still have control and stuff like that, that could be a good look too.
Agreed. What
Yeah.
you got, Johnny?
Well, when it comes to ownership, I agree 100%. I feel like um, creating our own platform, like a Tubi, is very important. But I feel the best way to do it is you have to almost not go quick with movies. I think you have to start out introducing something entirely different, sort of like how Amazon started with books and then they flipped to movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they caught an audience off of something else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel if you're gonna do a platform for Black people um, that we own, it should start off with maybe like content creators, creating short content and then people automatically navigate towards, and you create something that's gonna be for them to make money from. So something that they could put up on there, a couple of things. I don't know. It could be them freaking trying to sell clothes. I don't know. You know what I mean? Something like that, and to where it really actually ushers in an audience first, and then you have like a sub you know, angle with the movies. Like, boom, but here we got this. Y'all want to make some movies? You know what I'm saying? I want to watch some movies. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just throwing your stuff in a freaking ocean of a billion other platforms and it just sinks to the bottom because the weight's not right with the current. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Right.
it's no. Even if you say free, it's so many platforms right now that you can log on for free, but nobody is on that platform watching nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking dark hallway. You know what I'm saying that nobody wants to go down. You know what I'm saying? And so for that reason, I feel as if a platform could be created, but it has to like bounce off of something else. You know what I'm saying? People have to be reeled in. You know what I'm saying? That hook, that meat on the hook got to be real juicy at first. You know what I'm saying? To kind of pull that big shark. But it's possible, but it can't just be straight movies first. Because people going to be like, well, who are you? If it ain't. See, and that's the thing, and that's where the problem is. And this is because the big heads are not doing it. If Issa Rae was to say, I'm starting my own platform, it'd be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But they scared too to kind of put their toes in the water. You know what I'm saying? And even Tyler doesn't have a platform. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So and that doesn't take nothing away from what they're doing already. They comfortable where they at. They already successful. They big. Whatever. They don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole story of the industry back in the days where it was like, oh, why don't these certain people come together and create a distribution company? And it was a whole controversy about it. Why, uh, Bad Boy and Rockefeller and Death Row, they could all come together, and it's like people think it's just an overnight thing. You can't just, put everybody in the room, personalities, different personality broadcasts and shit. Like it's gonna be clashes. You know what I'm saying? And to come to
Mhm.
like one idea and take off from there. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time, energy, effort, communication, most importantly, understanding, and like some crazy out this world wisdom. Because when you got to zone in and focus to do something like that, it takes a whole lot of mind power. You know what I'm saying? And do you have the heart for it? Do you have the soul, and do you have the integrity to, maintain it? You know what I mean? And then the people around you, everybody got to be on the same, you know, fields. And it just doesn't work like that for many of us. And so we can come to that realization and take criticism, because a lot of it is that, like, you see something. One thing we don't do enough of is, like, we got to be able to criticize each other. If your story is trash but you wrote it and it's done, it's okay if I read it and I say this shit is kind of trash, bro. And it trash doesn't mean, yeah, trash doesn't mean that your shit is like, what I mean, chopped all the way. No, it just means you just need to re-edit it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
add. And if I'm saying it's trash, that means I see potential and I could add this or that. That means I have ideas that can kind of like, soup it up. You know what I mean? And sauce
Right.
it out. You know what I mean? But if you're not going to take that criticism and like, nah, my shit is John Blaze, then when the shit goes out to the public and it ain't hitting, that's on you. You can't come back to me and say, oh, you know what, you were right, because you're not going to even do that. You know what I mean? Because you already hurt from the first time I told you that I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. I never say I'm not feeling. I'm just saying I don't know. Maybe you should go this route. Da, 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 da. We don't do enough of that for each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I had to tell. I had to say this, that what I'm saying. Yes, we could create our own platform, but I don't think it should just be just throw movies out there that fast. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna get lost in the space of a million other faces. You know what I mean? Do something else to segue into it. You know what I'm saying? It can be even a platform where you showing behind the scenes of some shit, or you teaching somebody how to edit. This is a lot of people love this type shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you how to edit a movie type shit. You know what I'm saying? People love that. Them type of, go online on YouTube and see how many views those type of
Those
videos get.
tutorials.
Those
Yeah.
I think it could be. I think it could be all of it. I really think it could be all of it. I think that's the problem when people are launching is that
tutorials.
it's just one thing. Like I feel like it could be scripted, it could be unscripted, it could be tutorials, it could be verticals, it could be short films. Like I really feel like that's the whole point of a network is it's all of that, but it's all of our black stuff.
Like, you seen that? My fault. You seen that one thing I sent y'all where those girls were in Central Park? I think it was Central Park, and it was running around with the camera, just trying to, like
Oh yeah,
creating a
yeah, I
movie.
seen it.
Oh
I
Find
seen
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See that
yeah.
type of shit right there. What it creates is intrigue. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
It creates intrigue to, like, okay, I really want to watch what the hell happened, because they doing it on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They create movies on the spot. So that type of shit already has created a audience. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, where's the next place that they're gonna do to do that type shit? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's the type of shit that I'm talking about. That type of shit is like, okay, now I want to watch the movies, even if the movies don't even mean shit no more. And this goes back to us saying that influencers becoming actors, it's a normal thing now. Because then they always tell us in acting class, be yourself.
mhm,
Right.
Don't try to act. Be
mhm,
yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what comes the best in movies. Like, the person is just being himself. That's what comes out the best. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? And now we have that. That's what these people are, being themselves on these platforms, and that's what people are eating up. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so we back to that. We back to the basic. You know what I'm saying? And thank God for that, because you know what I mean. People, I know some people that went to 100 schools, still ain't booked nothing in this town. 100 spoons filled of nothing. And he
Alright,
shot that shit neither too. Having shot the yo
uh,
shit.
I'm
We
about
about
to
to
do
go
this.
on and on.
I'm about to do this, Jew. I'm about to do this. All right, I'm gonna wrap us up today. We went over, but it was a great conversation. So
Yeah.
this morning, I woke up to a really cool text message from one of my mentors. And she goes by the name of Tracy Twinkie Bird, and it was
Mm.
out the blue. And I'm gonna read you what it says. If you guys don't know who that is, she did casting for like some of the
We know,
biggest
we know.
films. Um, yeah, for the audience, layman audience, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Notorious,
Right.
etc.
Yeah.
Right? We gonna look her up, but
Fruitfield
uh,
Station.
yeah, Fruitville Station, she did that
Yep.
one
Fruitville.
too. Yeah, and a few
He
others.
casted Michael B in his first joint.
Yep, Cassie Michael B. She's got so many just cool
Yeah.
stories. I can't wait to have her as a guest on the pod. But she texted me and she said, "I'm so proud of you." And I said, "Thanks." But what did I do? What did I do?
What made you say that?
What made you say that, right? She said, "You create and don't wait. You do it." And then she put in all caps, "Do it." And then we ended up,
Nice.
catching up about the baby and stuff. But I was like, "Yeah, I do that. I do that." So
Yeah.
it's really cool to hear people that you look up to in one way or another, right? And she's a person that, based off of my experience, I've seen her really just kind of take her time and really choose her projects like carefully. And every time you hear her name, there's usually something positive associated. And just as a black female, it's great to have another black female who's been in the industry for a while be like, "Hey,
Right.
yo, you over there, I see you. You're doing something. Keep doing it."
Exactly.
and and that's really cool. And it also reminded me about my mission, right? Of how I started here in the first place, how we all started here in the first place. We have these ideas that we want to make and we want to execute them and we want to get after it. Um, so I'm gonna leave you with the same thing I left myself with this morning, which is whatever you're doing, whatever you want to make, whatever you want to create, don't wait on it. And make it, and work with other people, your peers, whatever, figure it out and make it. When they tell you it can't be done, make it still. Like
Right.
when they say there's not a space or not a way to make money or blah blah blah, still freaking make it because you're gonna learn something from the process. And if you keep doing that, then the people who quote unquote you look up to are gonna turn around and be like, "Yo, I actually want to work with you." And I've had that happen multiple times. I want to work with you on this, or I want to be a part of this. But beyond that, you're gonna impact somebody else who was in your position when you first started, and you're gonna inspire them to make stuff. So, with that being said, amazing freaking episode 2, the casting couch. We would be right back here next week. Um, it's your co-host here, Kennedy Scribe Castor Ray, Johnny Crown, and Ray Johnson. Love y'all.
Yes. Let's go.
Nice. Peace and love.